Welcome back. It's the Mad Otter again, and we're carrying on with, we're going to be carrying on with the versatile framework today. We actually have completed finally last night the 50,000 smart plates, even though the building's not finished. So I'm pleased about that. So we are now syncing them, basically just to get some points going, so we can carry on unlocking stuff. That can now be dismantled because it has no relevance to here. That factory we'll come back to in a bit. We'll sort it out once we've done the other pieces. I just need to sort a couple of things out before we clear off and get going. Yeah, okay. Well, let's crack on. We'll probably have to come back, I imagine, for some materials or bits anyway in a bit. So we'll see how we go. So one thing at a time. We'll get over. We'll try and. My goal today is to try and start some of the trying to finish off effectively the actual production setup on this. That's the water tower. That's the unfinished 16 gen coal plant. Random nodes does mean I'm certainly definitely having to do smaller builds all over the show basically at the moment. Then once we get logistics unlocked, we can start piecing everything together. So this one's the versatile framework. So we have started actually building some, amazingly. So we're just going to get up there and see what's happening, and then I'm going to actually plonk down a so we are short on steel beams. We need to get steel beams up, I think, by the look of that. Yes. So we have not done that yet officially by the look of it. What are we short on? No power. That's what we are short on. Why have we got no power? Interesting. That power, it's because it's not connected. It stops there. Try now. That was an oversight last time, wasn't it? Oh well. Oh well. These things happen. So yeah. Okay, so that should start supplying some steel beams now up to the versatile framework piece. Now obviously we're going to expand this. This is just, and we've got to do all the decoration yet and carry on building this building. But I just wanted to make sure that we were building these. We are, so 40. So what I'm going to do, and I don't know whether there's going to be space here for a temporary space elevator drop. Ah, there was some blue. So if we pull that around that way, look at that, that'll do. And we'll do a very horrendous temporary thing here, just to get things going. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a splitter. And I'm going to nudge that towards me a little bit. Just a couple of nudges. And then what we're going to do is we're going to split one lot off. I managed to get the smart plating now that we've finished the smart plating, the 50,000. I've put it into a depot finally, and the rest is being sunk. And we're going to do the same here. So there's basically one lift is going to go up and over, back over the top, and is going to go to another floor over here. That will then do that, and for the moment temporarily to just about is too long. Oh, you little rotters. Missing iron rod. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. Let's take it out of there. We'll steal some from one of the machines, don't tell anybody. So we're going to bring this down, and this is blinking awful and is not part of the plan, but don't worry. And we're just going to do that just to get the 50,000 versatile frameworks underway. Otherwise it's going to take like, well, as it is, it's going to take probably a week or two. But that will give me time to finish these buildings hopefully off. And get this power one or the water tower fully sorted. The piping, some of the piping needs redoing on that properly, and get that one decorated up. That's okay, that one's finished, the mine. We've just got to get on with this one. So let's get some of this finished. That's where we got up to last night before I fell asleep. Can't wait to get everything unlocked, and then I can get back to my more sort of interesting choices of materials and stuff. We're getting there though, we're getting there. I'm not sort of complaining about it. It's just actually quite enjoying the journey. Having played creative mode for about 18 months to 2 years now and not done any vanilla for, well, probably longer actually. I've actually probably not played vanilla for probably close to 3 years, I'd imagine. It's actually quite nice to go back and do it. The only downside to it, as I've said before, is I don't have like fly mode or jetpack or anything like that, which in these early stages is a pain. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then it should just finish off with a cap of that for the moment until I've worked out the top. go. All right, next little bit is the beams, steel beams. So I think it's about there. Yep, cuts in part way through. So I had made a little bit of a cock up on the design with the amount of pieces, so I've had to alter that as I've been going around just to tweak it. But that was partly my own fault because of working with the hexagon shape on this particular build. I can't wait to get the lighting going on this and see it all. I've also started building the girders out just to start to see how much conflict or anything that was going on here. But I wanted them to be able to effectively just sort of tag into the side of the lift, just so that we could, it looks like it's supporting the lift but not interfering with it too much, i.e. it's not cutting through the materials. And that's the only bit of it's the only bit of clipping is the word I'm looking for, that I have currently. So these here, what I need to do is get a base piece that is in line, so it's halfway through there. Delete that one. I hope everybody's had a good Monday. It's now Tuesday here in New Zealand. I probably won't be streaming, possibly later this week, Thursday, Friday, as I have been, because I'm up at the studio this week, those days. I believe at this point. Ooh, I need to go and get concrete and stuff. Okay. I've run out of goodies. But I'm possibly going to be... Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky actually, and I think Tuesday next week is probably going to be my next streaming day. But we'll wait and see. We'll just, if you're in the Discord, keep hanging in there and you'll see the posts. Otherwise, you'll find it after it's gone live at some point. When I first put in the figures and got the 50,000 up for the smart plating stuff, I must admit I was pretty shocked. I was like, oh my word, I didn't sort of think about the escalation of maxing out that. But to be honest, with the way I build, it's actually been a good thing because, as you can see, I mean the 50,000's already done and I haven't even finished the building. So it's not, it's not actually a bad thing, weirdly enough. Right, let me find some concrete. That'll do for the moment. What else are we short on? Probably on some rods, so let me get some rods while we're here. I think rods are somewhere around. Maybe the next one down there. Let's do that. All this is temporary rubbish, sorting out, feeding this. Eventually we're going to have these upright vertical platforms here feeding in the goods for the smart plating for continued production. I can't remember, I mean, because I took about a year or so off of Satisfactory, I can't remember. I was messing around before that for about a year, 18 months with just blueprint designs and stuff, getting those vertical builds sort of sorted and things. And I can't remember whether smart plates are used in anything else near end game or not. I think they are, but I can't remember to what degree. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. It's just kind of the fact that it can be sunk is good, you know, because it just adds up to those token points. So all these hypertubes are also temporary, just to get me around between A and B at the moment until I've got sorted logistics. Once we get the next phase unlocked, phase 3, that's when things start to really open up. So and that's when we will be starting some massive planning for logistics, because the one thing that I keep stating with this random node map is logistics is going to become absolutely vital. And you can see why, because you don't get clusters anymore, they're just all over the show. So you have to pull resources from all over. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm really pleased they did it actually, because I think for a lot of players who've played for a long time like myself and done a lot of hours, it's just made the game, one, harder but more interesting as well. So hats off to the crew for doing that. 3. Oh, come on. There you go. I want my hover pack. I really do. And unfortunately, it's not released until like near the end, which is a real pain. After I've done pretty much all my building, it will be released. Okay. Yep. All right. So now we need to. I'm going to keep the ladder there just temporarily to build ladders in properly at some point to get up there. At the moment we will just pretend it's not there. What ladder? Okay. Eventually we're going to have these steel beams going up on all of these floors. But just for the minute I'm going to leave it at the 2 and then I'll build a platform or something I can work around to get up there a bit easier to sort stuff. Now what I want to do is I want to, because we're only at the moment producing, I think, is it 5 or 10 versatile frames? Whatever it is, it's not a lot. 5. We need, yeah, we've got to produce more steel beams. That is very true. Let me just assist that for a second. So, and we need more slugs to do the overclocking. Oh, no, come on, man. I want my hover pack. Yeah, we need slugs because we've got to get this up to 30, I believe, and then we're having another one over here. Is that right? Yep, I'm gonna have to do some slugs. Go and get some slugs. There is a couple over here somewhere. I think there's one there. But I'm actually going to go back and get it from the other location from Coral because I've got my sneaky little machine that duplicates them. A little bit more, so we're just going to go and grab some. Don't need too many. With the duplication it works quite well. We'll grab some. Then what we'll try and do is increase the production up because I want to aim for 20 per minute. That's the goal. That's what I did with the smart plating. Got up to 4 units producing. And I think if we can aim for the same on the versatile framework, it should be pretty good then. And again, because we're basically limited at the moment by 270 maximum of anything on a belt for the Mark III belts. So that's limiting everything that we're doing at the moment. Once everything's unlocked, of course, you can go boom, and we should be able to get 100 a minute smart plating done, and same on the versatile framework as the long-term goal. But we'll see. Slugs. That's what we came for, wasn't it? Coming for the great slug hunt. So let me empty some rubbish out. Let's get rid of that. Oh, we've got smart plating here. I might as well stick that in the blimmin' sink while I'm here. That can go in the sink. Let's just move a few things around for a second. That can go in the sink. That can go in the sink. And that will give us enough room for different coloured slugs. So let's do that and that. I prefer doing the slug hunting at night time just because they glow and they stand out really, really well. But right now I don't want to waste too much time. I want to try and get these done. I'm thinking actually we might go off this platform. Give us a bit more height. Because I know we've done a little bit of slug hunting there already, so we'll just jump up here. Ladders everywhere for construction. We will come back to this. I promise. I promise we will. Right, there's a yellow over there straight off that I see to my left. Another one just here. So let's go to that one first and we can work our way back. There's number one. There's a blue one over there if we can get it. Hopefully we won't drop too far, which I think looks like we're going to be able to just. There's one over there. Center screen. They're often hiding in funny little places. That's why I like doing them at night time, because they stand out more. Like there, you see that one there. Don't know whether we'll be able to get that one because I think it's going to be a bit. If we can get onto that platform, we can probably jump across. Just. Yes. Yep. Okay, let's see if we can do this, eh? Oh, no, no, no. Yep. Oh, yep. There's a pink one over there, which would be really good to get. If I can get onto these here, I can probably jump up across. Jetpack is just a pain. Right, okay, we're gonna have to build. Alright. We'll build a little ladder, eh? We'll just go up like that. Now there is, once you get into a rhythm, you can do this quite a bit and build and run and delete at the same time, but I don't need to here, so. But you can do it once you just get into a pattern with your keyboard with it and your mouse. Lovely. Just trying to look out for any more though. There's a yellow over there. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh, there's another one there. Can we get it? Can we get it? No. Hey, hey, no, no. The answer to that was we missed. Okay. Okay. How many do we have? Where are we? Inventory. Sort. We have 5 yellows, 1 pink, 2 blues. Okay, that should be sufficient. We will head back. There's a couple of blues here. I'm just going to grab those and then we will go. And that should be more than enough. Well, Should be. As long as you've got a sloop to multiply, it works very, very well. Hello, bees. Do, 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 do. Another pinky up there. Ooh, that's the problem. They're very addictive in collecting once you start. I've got work to do though. I've got to carry on with this versatile. Right, I'm going to get these two and then that is it. I am going to fly back. Oh, three. There's a blue one as well. See what I mean? It just keeps going. Coral keeps giving this area for slugs. It's ideal. And we'll stick them through a little machine when I get back to the starter area, and we will duplicate them up so I've got enough for the versatile factory to carry on being built. I messed that up on my timing there. I slowed down, which was totally unnecessary. But never mind. That's one. There's a yellow one down here somewhere. Under this tree. There we go. There we have it. Okay, we'll head back. We will head back. Slug hunting will continue another day. There's lots more here. This is, I reckon, is the best place in the map for collecting. They're just everywhere, but you have to look carefully, and they're under the lips of things as well, often, and all sorts. I've done already quite a bit here, which is why it's looking a little bit derelict at this region, but further across I haven't. Do you like the blue lights coming down on the rocks? Looking very, very nice. Yet got to soften it all down a bit with a little bit more pink once we get going. But that's a little way off yet before we can come back to this factory for a bit. Here we go. So if you don't know this little trick, basically when you, excuse me, chomping biscuits, once you unlock a sloop, stick in a sloop. You don't need these here if you don't want to. It just speeds it up a bit. But basically it's a multiplier by 2. So anything you put in there will basically multiply. So normally I would only get, say, 6 power shards out of this. But as you can see, every one it's doing, it's producing 2. It's not a glitch, it's an in-game built thing. So if you're new to Satisfactory, just bear that in mind when you get the sloops. Stick them in, and you can get twice as much for your work, basically, on certain things. Should provide us hopefully with enough for the versatile framing. And then the last one, which was the pinkies. So that'll give us 50, whatever it is, 56 in total or something, yeah. There we are. Right, let's go back to the versatile framework and carry on building that and see if we can get the production up a little bit on that just to boost it a little bit further at this point while we're still building. With the numbers being so vast in that 50,000 bracket, it's just you've got to get stuff going. There we go. Right. Now, where were we? Now, coal is coming into here, so we need power to here. Okay. Now we need to join those two back together. Which I think is this one here, so we just need to bring that up, I think, to there, and then we need to do a archy and either a curve or a straight. And that will start feeding up. So we've now just increased our production to 240 steel ingots, all being well. That's if these cater with it, with everything else going. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and check it, and then we can calibrate it as required. Now this was the other fellow we needed to get going. So that's doing 90. Now what was the 240 I said, wasn't it? 120 each. So what we can do is bring that up. And that's 120, which is producing 30 of these a minute, and I think that's where I wanted it at. So let's just do this. $30 per minute. Need to get the power on that one. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky again because I've now got to work out how to get this and this to merge. So we're going to need this coming up to there. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do another merger here. I wonder if we can do that. Mind you, that's clashing there. We don't. This is going to be possibly a problem. Because all this is going to start clashing. So what we want to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's come up to there for a second. I think this is going to have to come up to here. What we've got to work out is how we are going to, because we can't put a lift at the back because that's there, but we've got to leave space here for this replicating belt because this is going to be replicated up here and brought around to there. So that's in the way, which is why I've now raised it up, because that will then get it out of the way, hopefully. But we've then got to sort out how this is going to get up, and at the same time the other one, because the other one's going to come in there. So what we could do is we could do this. We do a squishy lift. Another little useful Satisfactory tip. I do not know whether that's aligned properly. It doesn't look like it is. We might have to jiggle things here. Hang on. Because that does not look aligned. There's going to be only one way to find out. There's that one there. No, it's not. Not aligning. Okay. This is one of the problems where I've come across quite a bit actually with my Wacko builds, is this half height issue. There's also an issue with the beams there that need to be a better height. We'll sort that out. I really wish the lifts didn't snap basically to increments there, and that you could just slide them to snap to a machine, so it would be so much better. So much better. Because it's just very, very strange. You see that there is actually out, and that's the correct one there. So what I've got to do is to take these up and redo them according to that. we're just going to delete. So that one goes, the top one goes that way. This one here needs to spin round and go that way. These three can be deleted. Now we need the lift coming back down to there. Don't know if that's in line or not, I can't tell from here. It's not in line. And I'm wondering whether this is not going to line up. It's one of the problems of using these frameworks. That's the root of the problem. Is the framework is not a consistent height to foundations, and it's a problem when you're constructing. And of course, with me doing quite wacky type builds, it becomes an even bigger problem. So that's going to go there. We're going to have to re-squish that one like that. Then this one here should now snap to correctly. It's still out and not moving. Ay. That's frustrating as. That's better. But it's still not lifting. Why? What's going on here? 159? It's still not lifting out of that, even though it's perfectly lined. How very odd. I do not understand. So let's just delete this again. What am I doing? Delete that one. Problem solving, always great fun. It just does not like the height difference. That is so peculiar. Okay, so let me try it this way then, if it's going to do that. Let's see if we can get it to work doing this. We'll line it up that way. Doesn't look like it wants to even do that. It's really bizarre. Very, very bizarre. I'm hoping that's done it. Oh, we got the alignment wrong there. Well, that's okay. Oh, no. We're going to need to go back up the ladder. Okay. Right, let's get rid of that. Bring that one down. For the moment to there, just so we've got a point of reference of its alignment sideways. Yeah, because that's going to have to go there, but then we have to go across. Right, that's aligned there, which means then this one here needs to come around that way. And I'm hoping this now works. Blinking frustrating. Still hasn't lifted though. That's a concern. Still hasn't lifted. What on earth is going on? Yay. Just not showing itself actually linking into this stuff. Even there, not doing it. It's really bizarre. What's going on? This must be a glitch in the game. Must be a glitch. I've never known anything like this. I've realigned these to this level, so it all should be working. Does not want to do it. Why? Why? Does that not want to align? It's showing the arrow. Doesn't need to belt, technically. It's absolutely weird. This is going to frustrate the end out of me. It should be working. They're aligned. We've aligned it to this level of this machine. It's like, what is going on? Why have we got no movement? I know I need to lift this side, but it still should. Even when we had it, it wasn't doing it. Still not doing it, see? I do not understand. There must be a glitch. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. See, now it's not even feeding. Now it's feeding there, but it's not going any further. And I can't add in even a line. Good day, Mac. How are you, sir? Nice to see you. I'm having a little frustration. This lift isn't working. And I've redone it so many times already, and it's not funny. Well, it is, but it isn't. What I'm going to try and do Just in case it's having a psycho moment with those steel beams. So that has to go there to line up with that lift there. Technically, that should work. But as I've done already twice already, 3 times already, and it doesn't, for some reason, want to work. So it just stops. It's not actually working. Ah. Just in time to see someone else has issues with lifts on IXO besides me. Yeah, experimental build. Yeah, 100%, mate. It's the first lift I've had out of this whole thing so far that's actually caused a problem. And it's literally just for some reason not reading it, which I'm beginning to now wonder whether... No, is that sitting correct? I'm actually going to delete it. I'm going to go do this. Let's see if this works. Aha! So it was a constructor issue, not a lift issue. Interesting. Problem solved. It's possibly not level, but it looks it for the moment. Yeah, so it looks like that constructor was actually the issue. Which is interesting. I shall remember that one for future reference. I'm wondering whether these have actually sat incorrectly on their position, but anyway, it's now working. So that is one good piece of news, which means, all being well, if I've done this correctly now, we are now doing 60 per minute at this section. So go back up. We leave room for more if we need it. Then this means with 30 and 30, so that means we can now produce 10 of these a minute rather than 5, all being well. So at the moment we're going down. As you can see, the 50,000 smart plates is finally done, mate. We're now just slowly starting at the very beginning of the versatile production. The only issue I've had always involves lifts connecting to mergers or splitters. Floor only amplified the problem. As for directly connecting machines, I can't recall. It's an interesting one. I mean, there's bound to be issues, you know. I mean, in the that's why they call it experimental build. There is bound to be issues, but I like consistent issues, if you know what I mean. Hooray! Smart plate's done. Yep. Mm. Yes, happy chappy. So I've now got those smart plates going into a dimensional depot and a sink. So they're just going to be clocking up points for me while I'm building. And I've got to go back and finish the smart plating factory, of course, and all that. But at the moment, I'm just trying to get production up on this one. And then we can worry about the aesthetics on here too. In due course. So, where am I? Now, we were going to increase this to 10. Very good. And then, and that's the 60 per minute then being made on those. If we get the other one going and we do the same on that and it goes up to 120, that's where we're going to need to do the other floor as well. So that's why I've been holding off at this point, putting the second one in motion here, but I really want to. So we've got to prep for it, basically. So what it means is we actually need to basically replicate this back up here. I don't think that's in line, actually. That's around the wrong way anyway. What a noob. Oh, yeah. Yep. Nope. I missed. Please get me a hover pack. And I think we can bring a lift up from down there to bring the stuff up that we need. See if I've got this actually right or not. That's not looking good. That's misaligned. Yes, severely. Try that one. That's looking a bit healthier. Are they coming up? Or not? Doesn't look like they are. No, because we're misaligned. Look at that. Who would have thought? Where are we going? Nope. Swing it around. Yeah, Merora. There we go. Hello, why did you come up? No idea. Okay, we'll have to redo the lift. Ooh, that went wrong. Yep, no wonder. Ay. So it's coming up, the ingots are coming up, but they are not coming into here again. Too steep. Nope, nope, don't go all the way, please. Same problem. Oh man alive. Okay, let's try it a different way. Back around. Willing to disclose any... I can't see that, unfortunately. Something. Exterior plan ideas for this building, or must I suffer and wait? I haven't fully worked it out yet, to be honest. I am feeling my way, basically. And yeah, I mean, obviously this hodgepodge here going to the space elevator at the moment is a very temporary decision. For what it's worth, this is similar to what I've encountered, even if both merger splitters were on platforms using floor holes. Yeah, there is problems, but you just got to keep trying, and hopefully it sort of sorts itself out, in the process. Almost like you get to trick it, sort of thing, into. Oh no, I've done it again, haven't I? Oh, dingo. Yep, it's not taking off. Look at that. Yep, there's one. How bizarre. But it's not moving again. Oh man, this is so frustrating. Chana. Okay, so what can we do? What can we do? Let's do what we did before and put down perhaps a foundation to try and trick it. into believing that it's a happy family. Just shove that off a little bit further. Oh, except I got it around the wrong way again. Forgot to rotate. I'm just going to build this out here for a second so I can... where was I going to go there? So that there these little things sometimes send you around the twisty. I just don't understand. Well, it's got to be a glitch, hasn't it? I mean, it has got to be a glitch because the alignment is there. Although I don't get the arrows on the bottom, the little blue line, which is odd. Like that, it should be showing like that, and it's not, and that's a worry because I don't know why. It's aligned that way, okay. It is a half nudge off that line. Maybe it's the half nudging that does it. Maybe that's what the problem is. It actually throws the coding. Maybe that's what the problem is. Well, if that's the case, how much would I need to redo? Oh, no, here we are. Okay. Nah, because it's all aligned here. Oh, no, maybe not, because that's there. Okay, okay, okay. But that is aligned with that one, mind you. Because that one's working fine. So it shouldn't technically actually be a problem. It is just being a damn sausage. Because I've even brought this up. I do this for a second just to see what the alignment is. Take that out. Ah, look at that. Look at the difference. See the difference in the hole there? I bet you that's what the problem is. And now we're getting the line. Okay. We've got them flowing that way. And we've got them flowing that way. There we are, solved. It must be something to do with these floor placements, with these steel things and stuff, and when I plonk the pieces down on them, it's not sitting actually correctly. And that must be the problem. Sorted! At least we know. Takes a little bit of nutting out sometimes, but it's worth, you know, worth doing. Well done, sir. Thank you. I think it's just you've got to just work through the process, haven't you? You know, basically say, okay, this isn't working. What can we go through step by step and problem solve it? Now, so the issue we're going to have here is we're seriously going to run out of ingots. I am aware of that. I'm actually going to stick 100 in there, spare ones that we've been nicking out of all these lift rearrangements. Stick that there, and we're going to have to go back downstairs and try and sort out now what the... Oh, ouch. So, let's have a look at it. This floor, because this is where the ingots are made. $120. Right. $120. Now what we're going to make sure is these are going to be fed okay. We're going to have plenty of coal, that's fine. I'm not worried about the coal at all. The only issue we're going to have is steel ingots, whether we're going to iron ingots, because of all the other things using them. And particularly at the moment, only because we need 80 and 80, that's 160. But we only can have 270 coming in currently. So 180 gets 210. So that's where I think the problem's going to be, because we're now going to run out of 210, 225, 240 something, 270. Yeah, so we're actually going to be short on them, and there's nothing I can do until we can upgrade that belt. So we're just going to have to let it potter at its own speed, unfortunately, and just die out as it does in due course. Bit frustrating, but I don't want to bring in a second iron ingot amount at this stage. Yeah, it just doesn't sort of make sense at this stage to do it. So, okay, it is what it is. So we will ignore it for the moment and carry on building up and getting the outside done and get the lighting, start to get some lighting in. And just see what merges out of this. As I say, I haven't got a real definite plan in terms of what this is going to look like. Um, it's just sort of, yeah, it is what it is. 1, 2, 3. So we actually need to change this. Now, was it 3 on the end of the 3? It is on the end of the 3. Okay, so it's like that. That needs to change. Just slowly been sorting bits out as I go. Haven't been too sort of worried about it at the beginning, but now I can sort of just, as I go along, do stuff. So this is going to be in a line, I believe. Yep. Bring that down. Bring that down. There's the base. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3. I think that's the right way around. We'll find out when we go around the other side. Ignore him. He is temporary. Everything in Satisfactory is temporary until it becomes permanent. But no, he is. Oh, he is a temporary fixture for sure. Three. One, two, three. And another cat piece. I'm not sure. I'll have to get up there and have a look at how that's actually gone, whether that's done correctly or not. It's alright. We'll get it sorted. Oh, that's incorrect. We've started. Something's gone wrong there. I've done something wrong. Just not sure what. It multiplied that up massively. Okay. That's alright. We'll sort it out when we get up there. And then we just want to do this. Put some weld plates on. Something like that. Now I'm sort of thinking what I would love with the lighting, I would love them to produce a small version of this that is literally like 1/8 the size, um, because I'd love to have them sitting in here reflecting down, and that's going to be a problem. So the only way it's going to work is by me doing it sort of like this, and it's just way too big for most of the builds you do. Actually, these lights, they're just like crazy huge, and I'd love to see them produce one about 1/8 of the actual size of that. Um, if you're playing on non-experimental mode and you're happy to use mods, you can use Infinite Nudge to scale the size of objects. So you can actually scale that down to the size you want. Um, I played around with it on an experimental map, but it's not something I want to use on my finished products as such, because I like to make my builds as accessible as possible for most people. Um, Basically with vanilla. So, and the only one I have ever used was Infinite Nudge, just for tiny increment nudges, but a lot of that, to be honest, you can do without it. You can do it in vanilla, but it just takes forever. That may well explain the problem with the floor holes. As it splits the lift, it messes with the height calculation slightly. Just guessing, but seeing that seems plausible. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. It's tiny amount, and it's not even like a proper measurement of the width of this or anything. And I think there's just something there that's not quite tallying up with these, but they'll get it sorted eventually. I have confidence in them as a team. They've done very well so far, sorting everything out. You know, and the experimental mode version is pretty stable now. I mean, I don't know of any problems there as such. But yeah, definitely want to get some lighting in here. Um, Start seeing some effect in here. I was watching a nice little stream this morning by a lady from Norway and her boyfriend, and the two of them were streaming away. And it's really funny because I'd actually sort of forgotten about her a little bit because she'd stopped streaming, and a bit like myself really, for over a year or two, and then she sort of has come back, and it was quite nice seeing them again. Actually, it was quite cool. And she was just very new back to Satisfactory and feeling away, so we were trying to give her little tips without spoiling it for her. But it was quite good fun. Nice gentle little stream, which I enjoyed. As I say, the smaller streamers nowadays I much prefer. It's yeah, much more enjoyable and relaxing. Apart from when they get lift problems. Then they turn into monsters. So, question is, this light, what are we going to do with it? Because it is so flipping huge. The other thing we can do, there is a possibility, you can use street lights. I don't know whether you've done this ever before, but you can do a street light and bury it. And as long as we've got room, and then you bring it down like that, bring it out one. Have you ever done that before? That can be done if the depth is okay. You've got to check your depth though, and then you can set up like two of them next to each other. So we'll do a little experiment. Oh, wrong. Now down boy. Yep, that was the one. There. I'm going to have a look around the back and see if that... Oh, it does stick out. Not too bad though. I mean, it looks actually like a some sort of electrical fitting up there. It's actually not too bad. I don't mind that. It's an interesting little detail. And that produces slightly smaller lights. Okay, so let's have a think about this. What I am going to do, just for a second, so I don't kill myself in the process of experimenting here. I'm actually going to, because I really don't want to be dropping down the back here into that gully and having to climb my way back out of it. So we're just going to do a very temporary solution for an old man like myself that forgets that he's on a platform and walks off backwards. Yeah, that's actually all right. I don't mind that. Okay, so the way we need to think about this then is each floor is going to need that. This is just the end lights. This isn't the lighting for the actual whole thing. This is just end lights. Okay, so we actually need to group this back as well. We haven't done that yet. Oh, man, such a noob. Haven't finished one job. Right. So let's do this again, and we're going to drop it back to there. Drop it back to there. Hopefully that's going to be cool. Okay, we haven't done any of them. You know it makes sense. These are producing the same as these, so what we will need is... Oh, we can't do it, can we? Because of that. Okay, we're going to have to think about that one. Because we're going to need to join these. We're going to need one coming over the top, joining in like we did down below with the double configuration here. Then it's got to drop down and join this lot. I'm going to have a think about that one. Okay. We will get there. Another problem on the canvas to solve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then says then. So we need to colour these up. Quite like them actually. Kind of add a different element to it. Like that. And then what we're going to do, because this is going to be on like all of them, so what we're then going to do is we're going to bring in the light controller here. And okay, not what I wanted, not what I wanted. And we're going to do this one here goes off to the lights. This one here is the power, which can be fed in through the floor there probably. It'll be reasonably discreet in there. That's going to come down to there. This here is going to be, ooh, what colours? Do we go back to the pink and blue? Can do. We'll see. See what it looks like. I have got other colour schemes I want to do on other factories down the line, but not in this area, if you know what I mean. Separate entity. And I think because of the pink and blue on the power unit just here, it might be nice to sort of keep it rolling in the same manner. Let's do a little power thingy there, bring that one through. Why do we not have power? Because they're not linked up yet to this fella. One to him. One to you. Looks quite nice. Okay. So that is the start of some lighting. We could probably pull it down a little notch actually in terms of intensity. Let's bring it down to 60. See what that looks like. I'll turn my light off so it stops interfering. That's quite nice. And we might be able to get some soft blue coming in on some of this on nearer the middle. Around the middle I'd like the blue and then it intermingles. That could be quite good. Is this an improper question to ask? Then please say so anyway. Do you sell your finished blueprint game saves to the general public? No, I don't sell them. I don't know whether you're legally allowed to sell them. I have no idea. I don't believe you would be able to legally sell them because it's sort of, I don't know, copyrighted. But if there's any blueprints you want, then yeah, just join the Discord and I can drop them in there. With regards to the street lights, is there now any way to turn them upside down? Only if you have the infinite nudge mod. So like with, I think if you're, it depends which one you're talking about. Are you talking about the street light? You can only rotate them. Um, as far as I'm aware, I don't think you can turn it upside down unless you've got the infinite nudge mod. And it's the same for these ones. They'll only rotate basically on the Z axis and not on the X axis or the Y axis. But if you're not using experimental mode, you can use the infinite Sir Dibley or whatever his name is, Digby or whatever, infinite nudge mod, and it will sort that for you basically, and you can actually spin it all rotations. Well, the street light says snap to beams. Okay. I have not tried because I'm fairly, as I say, I took quite a while off. I wonder if let's just do something then. Let's just try. So let's do freeform, and let's go this way, just for the hell of it. And organization. No. It looks like as soon as you go off an angle, it just stays pivoted to pressing Control, Alt, nothing. Alt, Control, Shift produces no rotation. So let's try something else here now. Let's go with small pillars. And try it with that in case there's something happens with that. That's different. No. Can't find any snapping that will allow it to go around that way. It always stays vertical. What about the other light? Let's have a little play with that one. No, it still stays vertical, mate. It is a shame. Yeah, it's one rotation I don't understand quite why they've done, because you could have uplighting, which I'd love to do on the buildings. I'd love to have like little outside lights that are going up into the, you know. They may come, they may come. So it doesn't look like that, sadly, will work. Okay, well I think that's fine. We can leave that currently as is. I'll fill that back in afterwards when we're done. Let's have a look at another colour. Let's do the blue. Yeah, I'm going to do the blue, I think, in the center and let it filter in and out, so you get this glow mixing between the pink and the blue halfway. Should look quite good. Warm in the outer, cool in the thing. And then it's in harmony just with this one over here, basically with the water tower and the power thing supply here locally. This here, the lighting is not in harmony, and we may change that accordingly. Or we could just say stuff it and this has its own different color completely, and we go for something else. This type of blue is quite nice as well, actually. We played around with that on another map, and I've got ideas I just want to save this game, sorry, because there's so much has happened. I don't want to lose it. There we go. The other one we did, not this green, but if we go, there's a really nice shade. Tone of blue, if you can get it. It's a green, sorry. I must find the hex code of it, of the other one. A little bit of green in it. Select color. Yeah, it was that one. And that sort of rough colour was an interesting one. I did that on one of my builds, and it looked super cool. The other colour that's quite good is that one, and I think it's that colour. Yeah, and that's also quite nice. Depends on how sort of like industrial you want to go, or whether you want to go that sort of Blade Runner, sort of cyberpunk almost sort of type. With the way that pink light is against the other, that could be really interesting. Allowed to bleed through, very subtle neon type. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, all of these lights and the colors that I pick generally look really nice in context of depending on what you want to do with the build. Um, but it's all, I always find lighting a real sort of like, do I go this way? Do I go that way? Because being an artist in color, there's just so many options, and I love the fact that you can come in these and edit them, and you've got infinite basically color combinations. It's just magnificent. Still quite like that last one that I had on, actually. I have to say, I did quite like that. For an industrial sort of build. I wonder what that would look like with like that turquoisey blue, that lighter blue coming in, causing a crossover with the... That would be interesting to see. I should try that just as an experiment. So what we're thinking is, back to organization, is get some of these lights in at this level. But lighting, yeah, is super cool. And of course, in this lighting, it's a bit sort of bleh anyway. You got to see it at night time, or in. I prefer the dusky part actually, when it's just sort of in between fully nighttime and daytime, and then you start to really see these colours pop. I'm not sure graphically how I haven't been able to sort out this yet in changing settings. With global illumination and other settings and textures and stuff. I haven't yet been able to find a solution to stop that flickering yet. But the tones I love here is the mix between this pink and the blue, and you get these lovely sort of purpley sort of tones, soft, real soft coming in, mixing from it, and I love it. And if I go that route on this build with the pink and the blue, then I'm going to have to change this as well, to be honest, to pink and blue as well. So all these lights here will have to change, etc. So it all becomes in harmony. Right, well the good thing about this build so far is that at least it's functioning. We are getting some versatile frameworks done out of the 50,000. And and it does also mean we are heading in the right direction in terms of being able to get some stuff done basically. And it just means this is expandable. We've got enough here. I do like this new beam that they've done with the scallop in it. Really do like that. It's works so well on different applications like here as well. Just because it creates interesting shapes. Gonna have to work that out depending on how high this goes and stuff. I'm not sure yet, so I'll leave that for the moment at its length. I think that's right. Yep, just clips the edge of those weld plates. Yep. One really has to be. Let me have a look at that. Sorry. One really has to look to even see that entire structure. It blends so well. I love it. Thank you. I do like to do things that are a little bit different, and this one's shaping up. I mean, it's just the bare bones at the moment, but it's it's kind of heading in a direction. I haven't yet sort of decided where it's going to end up, but it may be that we put concrete floors back in, you know, and leave the framework off, or leave it in there, but just as a pattern. Not sure yet. We'll see how it goes once I get other bits in. What I am wondering is whether staring at those lights, I think I might just turn them off for a second while I'm doing this job. Yeah, thank you. So what I'm wondering is whether we can do a tiny little nudge to bring that out a bit too far. This is where infinite nudge is perfect. Get out of here. I do not want to climb that ladder, thank you. Yeah, it's not going to play ball unless nope. What about this one? That might work. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's paint it that colour, and then that will be coming down, obviously. Right, let's just turn those back on for a second. And then if we change that ladder to that colour, that could work, and that gives us access up. Whee. Yep, that'll work. I like. That means that one can come off. The temporary one. And that can be built into as a permanent feature. This lights could almost come down a notch again, actually still. I have to wait and see what it's like at night. That's the real, you know, at that dusky night time. It's just we're getting a lot of reflection at the moment off this. So I won't really know how it's going to work, but I do like the way it's catching the edges at the moment of that stuff. We'll come back to it and play with it when the light has gone down. Right, okay. What else can we do? Not sure yet about these beams coming out, but we're sort of I'm trying to set it up so that whether we do diagonals going across or something, I'm not sure yet. The only thing I don't like about the beam system generally is this sort of here where it just leaves it open, and the reason for that is I don't like the beam connectors particularly. I mean, I use them, but I don't particularly like them. And this, unfortunately, is not paintable. Oh, it is. Ooh, that's better then. That looks better than the other connector, I have to say. I did not know that was paintable. Sure, it never used to be. So I'm thinking, you know, something like that going up. And then I'm thinking of going a little bit, maybe a little bit crazy and doing my things that I do. Doing sections like that even so it's semi-transparent. Hello Manta, how are you doing? But I'm not sure yet. If I do that, it's going to end up very much back to looking like my mine buildings, like my vertical mine buildings. And I really want to do something different to that, so I don't really want to go that route. I lack the skills to do it anymore, but I've figured out the popcorn popper. Mentioned some time ago, factory carts. Very curious what would happen if backlit, a furnace type effect maybe. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can actually do, and it's a matter of playing with it. I mean, years ago there was a guy. Excuse me. I've only slept half the night for the last 3 nights, and I'm starting to feel it. And what they used to do was they would set up. I don't know whether I've got them here. I don't think I have at the moment. No. But they would. You can do a similar thing with these. But what they'd have is a little road going in a circle, basically, like here, or a little area. hidden, and a factory cart with a track basically going around, and the factory cart would have the little light going. And then basically what they would do is every time the factory cart came past the door, it would open, and they'd have a backlight with it. So effectively, it would look like this flashing light motion thing was happening, like a bit like a lighthouse. And that was quite a clever effect. And that was just created by having a little factory cart doing its own little circuit. And took them a little bit of time to set it up on the map. But it was just just a little bit, wacky sort of thing. But there's all sorts of stuff you can do like that once you understand the mechanics of the game. If you've got the willpower, often things can be done. It's just, it's a matter of playing with it enough and having the time and patience to do it. But yeah, that was quite a fun little project. Right, let's do. Well, we've done one, haven't we? Sort of. I've got to finish it off after, but we can work a little bit more, I think, on another one. So we need to go. We need to work out how we're going to get up there again. So let's do this. That way. Up the 40 ladder. Hopefully that will do what it's meant to do. Yeah, we're going to have to do that for the moment. Now we need to take out these. Need one of those. And we're missing flossy wossies. AI limiters. There is so much to do. So many factories to build. It is just insanely ridiculous. All right. And go to there, and that should be able to link in, hopefully, to there. Yep. Get power. That's it on 40%. And then we just need to put in the actual lights and link them then up. One, two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five. And then, all being well, two lights, colour those up, and let there be light. Okay, next level. We'll have to sort out the other levels here on both these areas so that we've got the continuity going up there. That's okay. We can sort that in a bit. Nice. Yeah. Oh, no, not that one, that one. I think the yep, okay. So we need to work out now the height on these other floors, just to get those in. So the easiest way to do that, grab a foundation, and it can sit level with that. Then we can do another one on top, another one on top, another one on top, and then that floor is level with the edge. Question is, is that in line with this? I think it was, wasn't it? 3. Yep, looks a 9. And then we had the thingy on the end. No, down. Like that. Mm-hmm. Come on. Just managed to get that. That's the only other thing that might have been causing the problem, is if this beam's being placed in. it may have been causing a conflict on the level here. There may be a snapping thing with the top of that, maybe that's creating the problem. I don't know. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Got to put another floor in. Just get those wired up. Damage to fix-it property. I'm pleased they've sorted out the coding on the lights now so that when you attach another set of lights it doesn't default it back to something else, which is what was happening for ages. And the fact that they've now done that is really cool. They've actually got it so you can keep attaching the lights and they stay the same colour. Which is nice. Nice. So I'm going to have to work out here what's going to happen here. I might just in fact, take this one out, put another half foundation in. Excuse me, at these in-between bits. I'm not quite 100% sure yet. We'll just have to sort of play it a little bit by ear. Because I haven't got the nudge facility on the lift anymore, I can't push this lift just past to clear this. So I'm thinking at the moment we may just do a half on here and it won't really matter. It's not really going to affect anything because I just need to get the central design sort of idea in my head at some point as well and what we're going to do here. Because at the moment this is all just literally flying by the seat of my pants. I had an overall idea of these column things on the ends and these all starring out basically over a hexagon shape, just because we had the 6 items to sort of produce. But it's now, I don't know where I'm going with the rest of it yet, aesthetically at all. So I am literally just feeling my way, and hopefully at some point something will come to me, because what I don't want to do is go back to the vertical builds like this miner. I don't want it to end up looking just like this. I mean, these are super cool and they're going to be smothered all over the map wherever there's a mine, but it's kind of, I don't want this to just be a sort of hexagonal version of this. So I'm sort of trying to think of ways that I can perhaps make it a little bit different, but I don't at this point have a clear picture in my head. So you'll have to wait and see, Pud. Because I don't know whether even, you know, things like this stacked up on you know, on beams and stuff would look any good. I just don't know. But I think they're too big and clumsy. That's why I say I've just got to wait and see what something inspires me and takes me. Unsolicited, but what about church pipe organ kind of thing? You? Well, yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is I love the fact that these go vertical as well as horizontal. And we could even have a column made of these that goes up, you know, the building. And we could do that. That could prove interesting, which is like adds an element of difference. Yeah, I'll have to do some experimenting, probably in a blueprint machine as well for that. I really should have done these in blueprints as well, but I didn't. Wouldn't be so bad on just on this build though. I mean, it's mainly where you've got things like the vertical builds where I know I'll be dropping that on every pretty much mine across the map sort of thing that I need. So that's going to become a whole different ball game. But yeah, I've just got to try and. Because the other option is you bring something like this as well around up the centres. There's so many things you could do, and then I could have lights off that, you see, pointing inwards as well, which could work. But yes, so we'll have to see. Take it by, play it by ear. Okay, so let's move on. This one here is going to be the next victim. So we'll put in a one there, one there. That's going to go to there, and then hopefully that will still, yep, be able to kick into that one. Means we've got power there. Same one, good. It's doing what it's meant to. Now this one here is a little bit different in that we are coming down below sort of the normal ground level here because of this opening. But I think we can still play it the same, but we just have to take this down a little bit further. Like that. And then the ladder which we just nudge in a fraction. And I'm hoping we can still get up that okay without any problems. Might have to do a little one here, even if it's just, I don't know whether that's going to work. You need to do it the other way. Yep, that way. Yep, we can still do it. It doesn't interfere with the rock, which is good. Sweet. Nicely, nicely. So let's stick in some of these lights. So we will. Can we steal that from there? Yes, we can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we should be able to do from here is do that, and then that. And they are shining correctly. They should be painted correctly because we nicked them from over there. Yes. Awesome. Sweet. Looks like we're heading in the right direction. H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. H, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one down to that one to that one. Cool. Gonna need some floors put in for that one for sure. And the other thing we need to do is we need these pieces here, which doesn't look like that's actually going to. Interesting. Yeah. Yep. Like that. Just to add a bit of detail on that surface, basically, a bit of relief. It's very nice. Yes, so many possibilities. Thank you, Mac. Do appreciate it. Yeah, it's just the unknown. I always get a phase like this on buildings where I don't always have a clear picture. I sort of have a basic framework, sort of concept idea. Then I have to think afterwards, well, okay, what am I going to do with this? Sometimes it just doesn't work and I have to scrap it completely, and other times it works really well. It was like, you know, with the water towers and that and the powerhouse thing, I had a rough idea in my head. I had a sort of vision of the basic thing, and it worked, but it doesn't always. And that's what I've got to work out on this thing, is whether it's going to work or not for me and how. I'm just thinking at the moment, you see, the way my brain sort of half's going with this. is we did like another column here, but then I don't know whether it would then end up too heavy. That's sort of the way my mind's going with it at the moment, and we do that either side. Have like a try thing going on at this end. Getting distracted now with the idea. I'll just do one here and we'll see what it looks like from a distance, you know. Not that you can get huge distance on this thing because of where it's positioned, but I think that could look alright. You could just imagine it with the lights on, of course, and all that stuff going on. Yeah, I think that could prove interesting. So the way that would work here is that's officially the foundation there. So we came out one and went across one. So it'd be built up on that. Just do this one here, then it will give us a sort of a side, as it were, of the whole. Oh dear, wrong. Oh, I did it, done it again. Too much. I'm getting tired. Tired. And I can't wait for the shiny concrete, because that's what this is eventually. These pillars will probably be made of. And then toned, and that'll add another dimension to them. So something like that, basically. You got to imagine it with all the lighting. You get a little glimpse of the lighting in here at the moment, but it should be interesting. Looking down from the sky, ceiling fan with the motor in the center shape, perhaps. Yeah, yeah, it's sort of heading that sort of almost like a um, six-leaf clover flower, almost. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost that sort of. Yeah, I think once the lighting's done, it will improve it massively. And it'll be interesting. Okay. Hey, 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 hey. Thank you. Missing Caterium. Missing Caterium. Yep. Okay. Well, maybe it's a good time to pause the stream for now, because I think that could look quite good actually once we get these others all done as well. It's really going to be quite curvy, you know, the curvy pillar thing, like almost like you say, like a cathedral organ sort of type stuff almost, in a way. Beautiful work as always. I can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate your doing live streams and having time to chat to me. Yeah, no, no worries, mate. Very nice to have you with us, and your contributions in as well, chatting. It's always appreciated. Always appreciated, mate. But I think we're roughly heading in the right direction with this. I think this is going to start taking some shape, and once we get all this lighting in and operational, this is just the beginning, obviously. I think it will start to pull together. And once we get all the machines up and running, I mean, we've got to unlock the next tier of belts and everything first, but at least we've got this. All needs sorting. I've got to find a way of entrancing this nicely. I may even do a thing here where I bring, in fact, on a curve. I might even, depending on how that goes, but I'll see if we can find a way of doing it where it might work better. So it sort of splits into two and comes around and leads in. If we move this forward, etc., etc., that might work. So I'm going to play with different stuff to make that work as well. But I think overall it's starting to take a shape. It's starting to, we had no real idea. The only thing I had in mind was that the fact that this is a versatile frame factory, and I wanted the basic shape of the versatile frame tilted up on end to be the initial plan. And then we made two of them and made a sort of hexagonal version out of the three sides into six. And now what we're doing is trying to find a way of skinning and lighting it in such a way that it looks awesome. And we're, it's bare bones. We're starting. It's early days on it, but it's starting, I think, to take a shape in my head that I can start to play with. And then we can go from there. And hopefully, we can get something as beautiful as this crazy thing, even though that's not finished yet. The piping needs a bit of work because it's just a bit slapdashed inside. Hopefully we can get something going, and then you'll see a glimpse of it through there with the lighting. The key is ultimately is whether we change the lighting from what we've got at the moment, or whether we keep this as a unit separate on its own in terms of its lighting, or whether we morph it into this. So we go the pinks and the blues again, and it sort of all morphs into this area. Have to wait and see. It'll be a wait and see pudding because we've got to do all the aesthetics on this yet. This one hasn't even really begun, so there's so much work to do, and this is just the beginning stages. The good news is we've got the 50,000 smart plating done. That was a huge thing to get done at this stage, so super happy about that. It's kind of ridiculous, really, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'm sort of like really pleased we've got that far. We've got 714 of the versatile framework done this morning, so that's a good chip in the right direction, and that will increase obviously in time as we get more of the production side of it operational. All good fun. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you, Mac, and thank you anybody else who's been lurking in the background. We do appreciate it. And we will catch you all another day. I'm thinking at the moment, today is Tuesday in New Zealand, and Thursday, Friday, technically I am down the studio, but that could change weather dependent and other issues. So the likelihood is on Saturday I'm not around. It's a long public weekend here. So that will be through to Monday, because Monday is the public holiday as well. So I'm sort of thinking at the moment next Tuesday, a week today, will be my next stream. But we may be able to squeeze one in maybe Friday or something if plans tweak. In the meantime, it's goodbye from the Mad Otter, and take care, and we will see.